Dear students, yesterday in our previous video we have discussed about the concept of utility, total utility and marginal utility, and the relationship between total utility and marginal utility. Now today we are going to discuss the concept of law of diminishing marginal utility. You must remember that the concept of law of diminishing marginal utility was originally formulated by H.H. Gossein, a German economist, and thereafter it was further elaborated by Alfred Marshall. So according to Alfred Marshall, the law of diminishing marginal utility states that as the amount of a commodity consumed increases, other things remaining the same, the utility derived from the additional unit of the commodity diminishes. What does it mean actually? It means that when a consumer consumes an additional unit of a commodity, the satisfaction which he derives from the consumption of each successive units of the commodity declines. Say for example, if we take that, suppose you need a pen for your examination and you approach a shop for buying a unit of pen. So the seller asks for ₹20 for a single pen. Now if you want to purchase one additional unit of the pen, if the seller asks ₹20 for the same, then you will not generally purchase the same because the utility of the second pen to you is less. So therefore what you will do, you will be ready to buy one extra unit of the pen only when it is offered to you at a lower price, because the marginal utility of that extra unit of the pen is less to you. So therefore from here we can come to the conclusion that the law of diminishing marginal utility states that when a consumer consumes an extra unit of a commodity, the satisfaction which he derives from the consumption of each additional unit reduces with the increase in consumption. Now you must remember that the law of diminishing marginal utility is based on certain assumptions. Number one, the commodity concerned is identical, that means it is standardized. Number two, what we find that it is the unit is standard, that means say a piece of cake or a piece of mango or a glass of water, this represents a standard unit. तो यहाँ पे हम लोग क्या देख रहे हैं कि डिमिनिशिंग मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी को फॉर्मुलेट करने के लिए हमारे द्वारा कुछ एजम्पशंस लिए गए हैं। पहला एजम्पशन लिया जा रहा है कि यहाँ पे प्रत्येक कमोडिटी जो है वो स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड है। स्टैंडर्डाइज मतलब जैसे एक कप चाय या एक ग्लास कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स या फिर आप लो एक पीस मैंगो, तो ये क्या स्टैंडर्ड यूनिट्स हैं। दूसरी बात हम लोगों ने यहाँ पे क्या बताया कि यहाँ पे जो कंज्यूमर्स का टेस्ट एंड प्रेफरेंस है वो कांस्टेंट है, दैट मीन्स द टेस्ट एंड प्रेफरेंस ऑफ द कंज्यूमर ड्यूरिंग द प्रोसेस ऑफ कंजम्पशन रिमेन्स कांस्टेंट। बिसाइड्स दैट इट इज assumed that the prices of substitute goods remains constant। Here he further assumes that the marginal utility is constant and the consumer is a rational consumer। consumer जो है वो rational है and he tries to maximize his total satisfaction। वो अपने total satisfaction को बढ़ाना चाहता है। So based upon these assumptions the theory was postulated, and here he states that total utility initially increases at a decreasing rate. So the total utility curve will be increasing in this manner. It will reach its maximum and then it will start declining. As a result, what happens? The marginal utility initially declines, and the point where total utility is maximum, at that point marginal utility is 0, and thereafter when total utility falls, marginal utility becomes negative. So here we are measuring total utility and marginal utility, and here we are measuring units consumed. So what we find? That as the consumer increases the consumption of the commodity, the marginal utility starts declining. That means the utility which he derives from the consumption of each extra unit of the commodity declines with the increase in consumption. It becomes 0 and then negative. So this is the concept of the law of diminishing marginal utility.